like the traditional UX industry is kind of disintegrating in its core. It has different facets now.
Yeah.
People are either in service or in public sector or in product. So a lot of it has moved in-house. The the setup has changed a lot. Danny, I know so many people that left the design field, even
Really?
the field, but mostly the design field, because it's really hard in our times to feel you can make a difference. A lot of our UX patterns have been commoditized. Design systems are out of the book, and it becomes more and more niche, right? Like, how do you get faster at prototyping this? And I mean, the technical side of our roles is really deep, and you can continue going into that layer. But when you were more on the facilitation side, and when you wanted to like connect more that sort of end to end, I mean, a lot of these workflows have been quite chopped up, and it's very, oh, just stay in your box, just do this, just do that.
Yeah, I know. Driving me nuts. This thing about the thing that, like, I had this experience earlier this year when I was applying for product design roles, and I didn't get one interview, and it was just like, which I'd never had before. I've always got interviews. I've usually gotten the first job, and I didn't get much feedback. They never do. But it was like, essentially it was because I didn't have a polished Figma kind of portfolio. That was what I got down to. Is it was like, because they want this sort of taste and all this, but this whole thing of a generalist, it was like generalists that are very good at Figma, and I keep talking about it on this podcast, but it winds me up. It's just like,
Oh, I
it
understand.
I don't get it, because I just think it's all going to get AI'd out, taste and all this stuff. Like, it's not that special. I know it's special now, but I just think GPT-7, GPT-8, taste is going to be like easy to replicate. Like, I don't think it's that hard to get down to. Whereas I feel like the aspect that is much harder to do is being a generalist that understands system thinking, because those points are not on AI APIs. You can't kind of wrap AI into like what the impacts will be of a systematic system yet. So I feel like frustrated that some of those skills around that broader thinking that seem to be less valued in the market at the moment. But
Mhm.
yeah, I don't know. Does that resonate for you, or do you not
Yeah.
feel that?
No, I mean, I 100%. And I think it is, like, it is a factor why people are leaving the industry,
Mm,
to find different opportunities. Um, yeah, and the job field and the description of the roles is like an ongoing change, right? Like, that's like every 2 years it's a new term. And I definitely have this impression that the field of UX still is very much in that UX generalist view. We know these things go in pendulums and cycles and circles, and at a, like in a few years' time, maybe we're back to the generalist role. It might be called something very different. But I have this feeling that we're gonna foresee, like, it's just sort of my sense. I have no real evidence. With this particular technology change, I am expecting a lot more fragmentation for
really?
the foreseeable time. And in in our adjacent disciplines, so in engineering, you would then, like, a lot of engineering senior lead roles are about architecting
Yeah.
all these different fragments, right? And um, I haven't seen that trend yet in our sort of design field. It seems product takes that up from
Yeah.
further.
Yeah. And how are you feeling in this? Like, we talked about people that that are leaving the profession. We can see a bit where the wind's blowing, but it's nobody knows. But how are you feeling personally? What's the temperature for you?
Yeah, I mean, It's a good question. I I think it's very situational, you know, like, sometimes it feels like, it's gonna be okay, you know, like, the the beautiful thing about being a generalist or having had the foundation of a pretty varied application, experience in design is that you learn that the canvas changes, right? But the problem solving and the shaping the work, understanding the actors, working through what the actual goal is, and how do you enable a good outcome? How do you set your constraints? How design for these constraints? I haven't seen that change yet, and so that kind of gives me a lot of anchoring. You know, like for me, that level of the work has always been there, but the application layer changes, right? Whether that's on screen and it's a pixel perfect interaction, or if it is more at a facilitation level, you know, like workshops and mapping and getting people to agree on a mental model to move forwards to a more a clearer objective. Um, that can vary, but I believe the process of really gaining clarity of what is the opportunity that we can design for and how do we do that as a cross-functional team of people, I really hope it's not going away. And if it were to go away, I think we're back to that fragmentation where parts just don't fit together.
So coming into the feeling of that, am I hearing that you feel cautiously hopeful?
We have to. I think
Mm.
this has always been our job,
Yeah.
right? Like we're designing, we're facilitating human technology interaction. I believe this is why you're doing this podcast. And you know, like it is. How do we reflect that human element in um in a technology enabled environment? And so, yes, technology changes. Is it always the best thing? It's hard to say when you're in the middle of that change, but we're shaping it. So this is like, I think this is why I'm in this. This is why I'm here today. This is why I'm still sticking with this field. This is why I'm focusing a lot more on product now, is because in this space we have the ability to shape these interactions, these value
To
exchanges,
be
and
part of the change, not outside the change, right?
we might still fall on our face, we might make mistakes, but we can try.